in the future, but for this one, it's just essentially all actors and musicians. So I wanted to focus on celebrities that I know because when I was doing some research, some of the facts were interesting, but they were on celebrities that I have never heard of. So I wanted to make sure that I actually knew who they were, and also I wanted to make sure that the facts were accurate. So I did a little bit of extra research with some of them just to make sure that they were truthful and not just made up. I also wanted to focus on celebrities that I personally am interested in some capacity, but I also wanted to make sure that they are pretty much universally known. I don't want to talk about people who are just completely unknown to most people. I also wanted to include some more in-depth facts or facts that I did additional research on at the beginning, and then get into some more quick fun facts. So I'm going to do the more detailed ones first, then the fun facts, and then lastly I'm going to do kind of a subgenre of the fun facts and do celebrity couple stuff. So we are just going to get right into it, and the first celebrity that I'm going to be talking about is one of my favorite actors of all time, Jack Nicholson. So I love Jack Nicholson so much. The Shining is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think he's amazing in that movie. He's basically retired from acting now. I always see pictures of him just like eating a sandwich on a yacht, just living his best life. But when he was acting, I thought he was amazing. Also, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is probably my favorite performance from him. He's been in so many amazing movies. So, okay, this fact that I'm going to be sharing, some of these I did know before, and I'll say if I knew about them before or not, but this one I did know, but I just did a little bit of extra research on it. So, Jack Nicholson's sister was actually his mother, and his parents were actually his grandparents. So after Jack's mother got pregnant at the age of 17, her parents offered to bring up the child as their own, Jack being the child. In 1974, Time magazine researchers learned and informed Nicholson that his quote-unquote sister, June, was actually his mother, and his sister, Lorraine, was really his aunt. By this time, both his mother and grandmother had died in 1963 and 70, respectively. On finding out, Nicholson said it was, in quotes, a pretty traumatic event, but it wasn't what I'd call traumatizing. I was pretty well psychologically formed. This is crazy to me, and this was a different time, so I do see how this could happen, and I'm sure this happened honestly more than we would think, because it was so taboo to have a child out of wedlock, and at 17 I guess, but then again people were getting married at 17 and having children, but the fact that his mother wasn't married kind of added to that. So that is just so crazy to me, and the fact that Time magazine like snitched, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't know that part of it. That's so bizarre to me. So not that they snitched, I mean he should have known, but it's just a weird way of him finding out. Okay, so next up is, okay, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, so please don't come for me if I'm saying it wrong. Lev. I'm gonna say Lev because that's Lev. Yeah, Lev Skerr. Okay. I feel like most people know seen him in a few movies, but Lev Schreiber's, I know I'm saying his name wrong, I'm so sorry. Lev Schreiber's mother kidnapped him after his father threatened to have her admitted into a mental hospital. They apparently fled to a commune in New York, and then when he was 3 years old, his father kidnapped him back. But his mother eventually gained full custody after a messy legal battle. He has gone on to say that he has no real recollection of this time of his life, and therapists think that this may be a coping mechanism, which would make sense to me, you know, obviously. And also he was young, so I think the perception is that we don't remember anything before we're 5. That's what I've heard, at least. So apparently his mother's mental problems began when she had a bad experience with LSD at the very beginning of her marriage to Lev's father. Also, apparently his legal first name is actually Isaac, and his middle name is Lev. So this, like I said, is crazy to me. I did not know about this at all. The kidnapping thing, I mean, that is bonkers, and it sounds like his mom probably had like a predisposition to schizophrenia or something, because, I mean, I don't know, it just, you know, I hear stories of people who do acid once and then they go crazy, and I think a lot of times it's something is kind of unlocked in their brain, because a lot of people do acid constantly and they're not like that, but I'm not a doctor, okay? So, it seems like he's pretty well adjusted now, though. Like, I mean, every time I've seen him on red carpets and in interviews, if I've ever seen him, you know, speaking or whatever, he seems very composed and humble in a way, and he's almost kind of quiet. So it seems like he's, you know, I have no idea what he's like in person, but I think it's good that it's probably a good thing he doesn't have any recollection of that time of his life. So, that story about him actually reminded me of Joaquin Phoenix and his childhood. So I went to his Wikipedia page and I looked at the like early life section because I wanted to make sure I was remembering it correctly. So once again, like Jack Nicholson, Joaquin Phoenix is one of my favorite actors of all time. He is probably, I'm not gonna say he's my favorite of all time as far as working actors go, but he's up there for sure. I love him so much. So Joaquin is part of a pretty big family. He's the third of 5 children, and all of his siblings, all 4 of his siblings went into acting. The oldest sibling, River Phoenix, was also an actor who unfortunately very tragically passed away at the age of only 23 from an overdose, which is a whole other sad and tragic story because Joaquin called the police on his brother overdosing outside of, God, what is that nightclub called? The Viper Room. He called the police saying that his brother was overdosing. It's so fucking sad. You can actually listen to it, and I've listened to it. It's horrible to listen to. It's so sad. So, but I'm not gonna get into that part of it. The second oldest sibling is Rain, who is an actress and singer. The third is Joaquin, like I said. Liberty is the 4th sibling, also an actress. And then the last sibling born was Summer, who is also an actress. And as far as I could tell, River was the most well-known before he passed away. And then obviously now Joaquin is like the most notable. And I guess Summer is actually a pretty notable actress too. So all 3 of them seem to be the most successful, quote unquote, but obviously his other siblings are also acting, so that's amazing. amazing. Like, what are the chances of that happening? I mean, I guess the door is kind of open for them since they're all involved in that, but very interesting. So, once Rain was born, Joaquin's parents joined a religious cult called Children of God and traveled throughout South America, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean as missionaries. They eventually became disillusioned with the group and left in 1977 because they were opposed to the cult's increasingly distorted rules. I also found out that the actress Rose McGowan, who was in the first Scream movie, she was also in this cult, and she was poured into it. Apparently her father ran an Italian chapter of the cult. Isn't that insane? I had never knew that. So, once Joaquin's family left the cult, they changed their surnames to Phoenix to represent the bird rising from the ashes, and Joaquin's actual full name is Joaquin Raphael Bottom. Another very interesting thing about Joaquin is that when he and his siblings were younger, when he was 3 years old, they witnessed fish being stunned this is in quotes, as they were throwing them against the side of the boat. So I'm like, I don't know the context of this. Like, I guess they were on a fishing trip, and then to stun the fish, they just like whacked them on the side of the boat. I don't even know. Essentially, they saw fish being harmed, and this prompted the whole family to convert to a vegan lifestyle. And to my knowledge, as far as I could tell, Joaquin is still a vegan to this very day, and I love that about him so much. He is such an advocate for animals. I am not a full-on vegan. I'm a vegetarian, but I love that he's so outspoken about that, and you don't see a lot of celebrities do that, so I love that about him. And he actually narrated this documentary called Earthlings. Oh my god, if you've never seen that documentary, it is a lot to get through, okay, but it is very important to watch. It traumatized me. I literally was shook for days after I watched it because I love animals so much. It is literally heartbreaking and completely disgusting what you see happen. Like, I know it seems kind of like fucked up, but I can watch the Saw movies, people literally getting like torn in half, and be completely fine, but then I see this because it's also real footage, so it's just super messed up. But I seriously think that everyone needs to watch it because you need to be informed on what is going on. So I also went vegan after I watched that documentary. I've been vegetarian for like a decade now, but I went vegan for a while and then I just couldn't do it anymore, and I really want to get back into it, honestly, but it's so hard for me. And I know that sounds like a dumb excuse, but I'm going off on a tangent now. Anyway, I think it's very admirable of him to speak out about that, and that's part of the reason why I love him so much. So, let's see here. So, around the time that he was, I guess, 3, I don't know, it doesn't say exactly when this happened, but he started going by the name Leaf. And he was inspired by spending time outdoors raking leaves and wanting a nature-related name like his siblings. That's why he went by Leaf, which I think is really cute because he wanted to have a nature-themed name like all of his. It is kind of interesting that he didn't have a nature-themed name. Maybe Joaquin is somehow related to nature. I don't know, but so yeah. And then also when he was 15, he reverted back to his birth name of Joaquin. So clearly he had a very strange and unconventional childhood, and I think he is such a unique person, and it really, you can tell, like, he did not grow up normal, in the best way. Like, I think that just added to his charm, and honestly, I think my favorite role that he's in is crazy. But I loved him in it so much, and I don't know, it's really hard for me to pick my favorite role because I love him in Joker too. Now we're gonna move into some more of these are the more quick facts, and they're just short. I didn't really do any extensive research on these. I just wanted to make sure that they were actually true. So the first one is about Johnny Depp. So Johnny Depp was allergic to chocolate as a child. However, as he got older, the allergy subsided. So this is very interesting because he was in not one but two movies centered around chocolate. He was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Chocolat. I've seen both those movies and he's great in them. And in Chocolat, if just look up like the poster or him in the movie, he is at his full-blown hottest in that movie. He is gorgeous in that movie. Not so much in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but you know. Okay, next, Uma Thurman, who I love, my queen. I just realized she's the first woman I'm really talking about, so sorry about that. Uma Thurman's father is a Tibetan Buddhist monk. Robert Thurman was the first Westerner to be ordained into the religion. He is also a professor of Indo-Tibetan Buddhist studies at Columbia University. I think that's so cool. I did not know that at all. So yeah, I don't know. That's very interesting to me. And this was just at the time of the article. I'm not sure if he's still in this role, but yeah, still really cool. Next up is about Jennifer Lawrence. Of course, another one that I love. Like I said, all these celebrities I at least somewhat admire and like, and she's one of my faves. I love her. So for her role in Winter's Bone, Jennifer Lawrence learned how to skin squirrels. I saw this movie and it's really good. It's kind of a slow burn type of movie, but yes, she does skin squirrels in the movie, so, you know, this was one of her first roles, I think, and I think she was nominated for an Oscar for it, so, you know, I think the skinning of squirrel technique paid off. Next up, Oscar Isaac, another actor that I like, played in numerous ska bands, including one that opened for Green Day before he was famous. That's what the website says, but yeah, before he was a famous actor. So yeah, that's really interesting. I can't really picture him doing that. I wonder if I'm sure there's videos out there of his band. Maybe I'll have to look that up. Lady Gaga is the first woman in history to win a Grammy Award, BAFTA Award, Academy Award, and Golden Globe Award in a single year. My fucking queen. I love Lady Gaga. And this was when she was in A Star is Born. I've still never seen that movie because I know it's really sad. And I'm so emotional when it comes to movies. I need to just watch it because I've heard it's really good and I love her and I also really love Bradley Cooper, so I should just watch it, but I'm a baby, so. Okay, next up, Zendaya apparently watches Harry Potter almost every day. She said in a 2019 interview with InStyle that watching Harry Potter is a form of self-care for her. And this is in quotes, a quote that she said, "Don't come over to my house if you don't want to watch it, because it's going to be on." Now, I don't know if she specifically watches the first Harry Potter movie, or if it's all of them, but I love that. I think it makes sense to me. Like, the Harry Potter movies are very comforting to me as well. They're very nostalgic, and I used to be obsessed with Harry Potter. I read all the books. I went to Harry Potter World. I've been there like 4 times. I was obsessed with Harry Potter for so long. I haven't watched it in so long, but anytime that it's like on TV, I'll watch it. So I think she's obviously being a little bit, you know, I don't think she actually watches it every day. Like, she doesn't have time to watch it every day, but I just thought that was cute. surprising to me or just very random. So some of them I knew about, and I'll mention the ones I already knew about, and then some of them I had no idea that they dated. So the first one, I did not know that these two dated ever. Sarah Jessica Parker and Robert Downey Jr. had a rocky, in quotes, 7-year relationship. They were 18 when they first met in 1984, and they moved in together just a few weeks after they began dating. It was said that Robert Downey Jr. was struggling with, this was when he was in the height of his addiction, and that's what contributed to them ultimately breaking up. I had no idea that they were dating at any point in time, and they were together for a really long time. So I didn't know that. But yeah, I'm glad that he's like doing better now and everything. And he's really cute with his wife, Robert Downey Jr. And I know Sarah Jessica Parker is married, and she has been for a while. This next one I also did not know about. Emma Stone, who I love so much. Oh my god, I love her. And Kieran Culkin dated in 2010, but it was described as a brief fling. Kieran Culkin is Rory Culkin. He's Rory Culkin's brother too, but Macaulay Culkin's brother. Macaulay Culkin, of course, from Home Alone and a bunch of other movies. That's his brother, if you didn't know that, and he's in the show Succession, which is really popular. I actually have never seen that show, but I should probably watch it. So yeah, I didn't know that they dated either, and I think that they're actually kind of cute together. I know Emma's married, and I think he's married too. But yeah, that's interesting to me. Speaking of the Culkins, Macaulay Culkin dated Mila Kunis for 8 years, starting in 2002, and now he is married to Brenda Song from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And I feel like both of these relationships are just so random. Like, I knew about both of them, and I don't know, they're kind of random to me, but also not. Like, I can kind of see it, especially obviously him and Brenda Song. Like, they have children now and everything, but Mila Kunis and him dated for 8 years. Like, that is a long time. I just forgot that they had dated for that long, but I did know about those two relationships. So, a more recent couple that is so random and hilarious to me is Bill Murray and Khalees, who is the singer. She sings that song, Milkshake. They apparently dated. Like, what? He was 72 and she was 44. They were dating recently, but I read that they broke up, which I'm kind of sad about, because I kind of love them together, to be honest. That is so random to me, though, and like so funny. Another more recent couple that are still together, that this one I wanted to include because it's also very random to me, is Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton. I love Gwen Stefani so much, and I'm sorry, but I don't like Blake Shelton. I don't like country music that much. I like Johnny Cash, and that's about it. They're so random to me. Like, I just see her as such a cool girl, and I don't know, I just don't see her with him, but you know what, they seem very happy together, and that is all that matters. I think her ex, Gavin Rossdale, cheated on her, which is just so fucked up. So hopefully Blake is treating her well and they're happy together. I just find it to be very random. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over 2 more couples that I did not know about, that I read from like an article that is random celebrity couples or whatever. So the last 2 are Selma Hayek and Edward Norton. They dated from 1999 to 2003 after being introduced to each other through their chiropractor. I had no idea that they dated. Once again, I think they make a really cute couple, actually. But yeah, I just found that to be super random, and I had no idea about it. Okay, this last one blew my fucking mind because... Okay, let me just get into it. So, Quentin Tarantino and Sofia Coppola dated for 2 years. What? I love Quentin Tarantino, and I've seen a lot of Howard Stern and stuff. I've seen a lot of his interviews, and I don't remember him ever mentioning dating her, but, and Sofia Coppola is also a director, and I like her a lot as well. So apparently they began dating after Sofia and her ex-husband, Spike Jonze, who's also a director, they got a divorce in 2003, and then she started dating Quentin, and apparently they're still good friends to this day, which is good. So yeah, I was mind blown by that, because like I said, I've seen a lot of interviews with him, and I've never heard him mention that, but maybe I just don't remember. So, that is going to be it for this video, you guys. I'm sorry if I was all over the place and very rambly and not making a lot of sense, but hopefully you found this video to be enjoyable. And as always, thank you so much for watching / listening. I will see you in the next video.